be it resolved.
Oh, listeners to our Be It Resolved podcast, where we have a friendly and competitive and hopefully humorous debate forum here. My name is Andrew Wood. I'll be the moderator for this particular episode. And I'd like to introduce to you my good friend Alex Brown. Alex? And Mario Karakides, hello. And Sarabjit Sandhu. Okay, well, the four of us are going to debate a resolution today, and we're going to be talking about social activism among professional athletes. So here's the way we're framing our resolution for today. Be it resolved. Professional athletes have the moral and ethical right to participate in and promote social justice issues. For example, racial equality and climate change. Okay, well, two of us will be arguing for this proposition, myself and Mr. Karakides, and two of us will be arguing against this proposal. But just let me be sure to add the disclaimer before we get started that these don't necessarily reflect our own personal opinions. We're doing it for the sake of the debate, for the argument. So let's get this argument going. Mr. Karakides, I'm going to call upon you to present your arguments for this resolution.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew, and hello, everybody. Esteemed debaters, we are obviously talking about the importance of having the moral and ethical right to advocate as an athlete for a particular social issue. And the answer that I'm going to give and my point of view is absolutely. The word is right. And now, within a democratic and free society, that right of free speech is applicable to all, within reason, of course, of not causing harm. Now, most athletes and most famous people do take that particular stand for a particular issue, and they should not be punished for taking that issue. Unfortunately, in sports these days, people are taking a bit of a political view on how an athlete expresses themselves, and they mar that particular individual with a particular point of view of whether they are right or left. We tend to forget, though, that many times the issue is beyond politics and it's more about human rights and moral issues. For example, if we take a look at Colin Kaepernick, this man, lost his career. He was a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and his career just basically disappeared because he took a knee. A lot of people on one side basically say he should not be speaking, but we are advocating for the fact that he has the right to use the fame and the work that he's done in his life to advocate for a social change, because after all, he is an individual that is respected by many, idolized, whether you like it or not, by younger kids, and it does change the frame of mind of many people. So he has a voice, and his voice should be good, provided it is used for good, and it should be heard.
Okay, well, thank you, Mary, for laying out that point of view. And let me pass the word across now to Al Brown. Al, I'm going to invite you to make some arguments against this resolution.
Thank you, Andrew. I definitely speak against this resolution. To me, a professional athlete is given a special position in our society. He's accorded a certain rank as a celebrity, really, and that rank comes to them by dint of the audience that the league and the clubs give them. And they have to use this venue wisely. I have nothing in objection to professional athletes going out on their own time, off the playing field, away from the audiences, and expressing themselves on whatever issues they have. The difficulty is that when you're in a competitive situation with an audience of millions, you have a responsibility to carry out a very not just an ethical and moral duty, but also a professional duty. In many organizations that exist today, for example, in professional engineers organizations and government agencies, to name two, also in an organization that we're all members of, Toastmasters, and in others, individuals are not allowed to express their personal opinions in the public forum. As a hike leader for the Toronto Bruce Trail Club, I have been expressly told that I cannot promote personal issues to the people that I'm leading in my hikes. The same for Toastmasters, the same for professional engineers. And lately on the television, I heard that the profession of news announcers, the hosts, are also supposed to involve that. They're not supposed to present their personal opinions on issues on public TV. Now, if a team does present an issue on a social issue, a theme on a social issue, and they often do, it's quite common nowadays for issues such as racial equality or even climate change to become issues that clubs champion. In that case, I can see the professional athletes supporting those themes. But if they're going to go out and support a specific issue, there's a good chance that they will run with objections to many of the fans. I can think of many sports teams where there are a fairly high proportion of different races. For example, the NBA has a high proportion of blacks on that group because of their proficient skills in basketball. I get fascinating actually sitting watching them do their thing. They're very precise, and I've sat down with you, Andrew, many times watching those games. Not as often as you, of course. And they're very good at what they're doing. And there's a lot of fans in the US that follow them. Just imagine, everybody follows basketball, football in the States. They're prominent games, plus baseball, which is my favorite. What would happen if and of course, the popularity of these teams crosses all ethnic boundaries. Everybody wants to cheer for their team. Go, fight, win. Well, that means, for example, in the States, you've got Democrats, you've got Republicans all supporting the same team, but they may not share the same point of view on a particular issue. And if that's the case, you cause division within your fans by bringing this issue up. So I speak against this issue, against the resolution.
Well, okay, Al. The only thing you forgot about, and the thing you just said is I expressed my view at length against this particular resolution, and so my goodness, where's the mute button on this thing? I don't know. Okay, well, look,
Apologies.
I'm not going to take that much time. No, you're passionate about it. That's obvious. Why not? But look, I am definitely for this resolution. I'm the one who thunk it up, so I'm absolutely for it. And I'll tell you what my motivation is. It goes back to last summer when we were all, inside and the world was upside down with COVID-19, but it was upside down in other ways too. And I'm looking south, it's true, towards the American leagues, the Major League Baseball, the NBA was actually playing last summer. And all of those leagues, and there was so much problems, so many problems in society, and with the death of that man George Floyd, and the government was not dealing with it. They would not deal with it. We're talking about Donald Trump's government here, and so while society is tying itself into knots and the Black Lives Matter protesters were out there trying to be heard, the NBA took that cause up, and they took it up in a big way. And they came out as individuals, yes, as teams, as organizations, right on the sidelines. And they had, they had it right on their jerseys, Black Lives Matter. And this is what we're talking about here, because these people have a prominent social position, which is determinative in the lives of many of the young people that they are talking to. And things need to change. They just need to change. And one way of making that change happen is by society's leaders. And these athletes are leaders to form the vanguard and to bring it into the open and to make it a real debate. Because otherwise it gets swept under the rug and it's just not going to be dealt with. Okay, so that's my opinion. Okay, well, Sarab, you are welcome to speak against this resolution. I invite you to do so.
Thing is, hi everybody, and this is I'm speaking against it. The most amount of sport I see is cricket, which is a little different than the North American continent, and this is the most watched sport in the world, really. And the only reason the professional athletes make a point and they are listened to is because they have a viewership, and the media picks it up and amplifies it to whatever they want. But they should avoid making social comments on screen and to the public, which should be done in their spare time, not during the game, because when they're playing, you don't want to spoil what they're supposed to do. They're professionals. They're supposed to provide a gaming atmosphere so people can enjoy. But when they start bringing social ideas there, that is not very conducive to good societal norms. They have the option. They can go off the screen and give their viewpoints on a blog, or they can write it in a newspaper, but people won't listen then. But this is the only time they do it. They should not use this media to their advantage to disrupt the whatever is happening. They should just do what they're supposed to do, play. Back to you.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to enter into the rebuttal phase of the arguments here. And by the way, Sarab, I'm just going to get in one word already here. You say disrupt. I say enhance. Enhance, I think, is closer to what we're talking about, Mario and me. But in any case, we're going to start the rebuttals with the con side. That's the way it's done. So I'm going to give Al a chance to begin his rebuttal, please.
Thank you very much, Andrew. You made one comment there where a basketball team collectively chose to take up the issue of Black Lives Matter. That, to me, means a team effort. And that's the thing that I have no problem with that. If a team is going to take on that sort of a notion, that's okay. But if an individual athlete is going to take it on himself or herself to promote a specific cause that the team does not endorse, then they shouldn't be doing that. They should do it on their own time until the team actually does get that, does come around to endorsing that issue. And as I said, professional sports already endorse a lot of activities. They endorse social moves like dealing with disabled people. I remember an issue once where the Blue Jays were employing disabled people with in their locker rooms, giving them jobs and stuff like this. So that's okay. When it's a club endorsed issue, it means, or should mean, that the executive of the club have checked it over and decided that it's an issue worth supporting. There are many issues in this world that people can support, and we put no controls on what individuals can do. Everyone has a freedom to speak on anything they want, but in a collective situation where you have a group, there must be controls on what people say within the group. As an individual, go out and say what you want.
Okay, thank you. Mario, your turn. You're invited to rebut some of these things.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew. And there's a few points that Al Brown made and Sarah that just don't stand to reason. The first one is the argument of having a collective arguing for a specific cause and that making it all right when it doesn't make it all right for the individual. So in other words, if a team then tends to advocate for racism, that's okay. And a team that advocates for non-racism, that's okay too. But if an individual does it, then somehow it transcends some moral right that the team would have as opposed to the individual. That doesn't stand to reason. Either you do have the right or you don't have the right to advocate for that particular thing that you're advocating for. Now, in soccer, for example, or in the Olympics, for example, athletes take individual oaths to uphold not only the integrity of their sport and the fact that they're not going to be doping, but also they are advocating for non-racial and racial equality. Now, that is taken as an individual and also as part of the collective when the opening ceremonies happen. Now, I don't see why that should be a problem that an individual stands for something, especially when it affects their own sports and their own teams sometimes where there is racism happening within their particular ranks. And the other thing that Al Brown said that I kind of took up exception to is athletes are given. And Al Brown said athletes are given the position. They haven't been given the position. They've earned that position. And that's where there is a difference. You see, if you are appointed, I can take Sarah, for example, and put him in goal and play soccer. Is he going to be effective? That's given. But he has to earn it to become a good goalie. And I think that is where the difference. So because the fact that they've earned it gives them the ability then to speak about something. And if something is burning them to the point that they're affecting their own individual rights within a club or within a game or within a society, a city, a country, a planet, they should have the absolute right to stand up or to take a knee if they want to and protest that so that they can affect social change with a voice that they do and have and earned.
Okay. Well, high five there, debate buddy. Just off the screen there. Okay, good. We're cooking here. Okay, sir. Your turn.
I want to bring back the Olympic oath. The Olympic oath is taken as a personal oath that they will abide by the rules and regulation and not create problems, right? They are not professionals. They are amateurs. All Olympics are amateurs. But why is the professionals allowed to do that? That they will disrupt the social fabric during the game when they're not supposed to do. Did you find any incidents in Olympics who have done this? I don't think anything that the amateurs do that because they take an oath not to do it. They can do all the shenanigans there. That's a better and a bigger stage. So what I'm saying is they have taken an oath not to disrupt. They should do it on their own time. They cannot do it during the game when what they're supposed to do is disrupted. Back to you.
Okay, well, thank you, Sarah. But I'll tell you what, one thing that has not been said in this debate is that this kind of protest has an honorable history and a long history and a history of effecting social change. Think of the symbolism back in the 1968 Olympics with the fist in the air, John Carlos, and absolutely, and that was an iconic moment, and it gave hope, and it gave a sense of power to people who were downtrodden, and it helped. And Muhammad Ali, of course, with his stance against the Vietnam War, he spoke with a moral authority. And as Mario says, he earned that authority. It wasn't given to him. And now let's fast forward to our modern times here. An iconic figure, worldwide renown of LeBron James, for example. Now, LeBron James has definite opinions. He had definite opinions during the recent election in the US, and he despised the current administration. And he used his position quite responsibly, absolutely responsibly, to effect social change. And you know what? Not only is that absolutely okay for him to do, it was the right thing for him to do, and there's even some sense, I would say, of obligation for him to have done so.
But he did it on his personal time, not dealing.
Okay. Okay. Well, there we are then. We've all had a chance to express our opinions. Thank you very much to the people who are listening. We invite you to reply in the comment section. If anybody's got an opinion about this thing, we'd love to read it. So please do take a minute or two to respond. And so there's that. And then the next thing I'd like to say is to alert you to our next topic. And we're going to be talking about self-driving cars and automation, computer automation of all of that. So that should be an interesting discussion as well. Anyway, thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, listeners.
May I just quickly interject and tell the audience we've got a list of other controversial topics which we will be bringing up in future podcasts, and maybe they'll be so controversial you'll see us coming to fighting words over the internet.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay.
Thank you for listening, and please subscribe so you do not miss another episode. Thank you.